What's up, y'all? This is Ty. I am here to review a new show that I think I done fell in love with already. It's a show that comes on Amazon Prime. It is called Riches. And it's about this family, this wealthy, beautiful, wealthy black family um, trying to control this cosmetics empire. So it starts with, first of all, let me say the cast. Gorgeous, the skin. I was just the main character. She's beautiful. All this beautiful chocolate. I'm sold already. I'm like, look at all this beautiful chocolate. Just beautiful. The flawless skin, the success, the wealth. I'm sold. I'm sold. But no, let me. So basically, it starts off. We meet the Stephen Richards, who is a cosmetics mogul. His company is very successful in London. He's a Nigerian man. He grew up poor, but he is self-made. We see him explaining, with the company, how he built this company and how important it is to have black businesses, and they get ignored, this, that, and the third. Then the young man that he's speaking to ask him a question about his children. He says, "So what about your other children?" So apparently, Mr. Richards had some children prior to this marriage, and he's like, "Oh, that's the end of this. We ain't gonna talk about that no more." So as he's saying that, I'm like, "Okay, I'm sold. I'm sold on this. Let's see what's going on." Instantly, they have my attention. So Mr. Richards decides he's going to call his daughter Nina. We see Nina. Nina is a beautiful, successful young lady doing her own thing. She's moving up the ladder here in the United States. She's in New York, and she's being celebrated for her success at whatever company she's working at. And they go out for drinks, whatever, to have a good time, because you gotta celebrate after you get some success going on, some promotion or whatever. And as she's doing that, she gets a phone call, and she looked down at the number. And you know me, I don't answer numbers I don't recognize. I'll be like, "Oh, you going to voicemail." To voicemail, you go, "I don't know your number. I ain't answering you, bro. Sorry about that." But she answered it, and it was from her father, who is Stephen, and she hasn't spoken to this man in 20 years. They are estranged. So he was like, "You're doing very well over there." You see, that irritates me. We got drama. Come with me with something different. We haven't spoken in 20 years. Ask me how I'm doing something. Don't try to butter me up. Don't talk to me like we've been cool. I ain't spoke to you in 20 years. You know how much happens in 20 years? You know what happened? How many things happen in a year? But dude, you want to call me in 20 years and act? That pisses me off. So I was already annoyed with him. "Hey, what's up? Nina, I see you doing good. Chip off the old block. The old block that didn't raise her? The old block that abandoned her? That old block?" So that's what Nina had, all that bitterness. She's like, "Lose my number." So that, you can tell that really upset her, but she has no love for him. She's like, "Lose my number, bro." So while she's saying that, one of her coworkers noticed she's outside on the phone. She's like, "Are you working again?" She said, No, it was the wrong number." Meanwhile, we go back to London. Mr. Richards is, in his office. He's looking around, and it appears he has a heart attack. I believe he had a heart attack and he collapsed. And so now we have this tension of him collapsing, and then they go to his son, one of his son from his current marriage. What is his name? His name is Gus. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just getting to this show. And his son is out in the club splurging on people, and he gets a message to come. Your father's in the hospital. He's rushing to go to see his father. And as they're showing all this, then Gus gets pulled over by the police. And then he gets pulled over by the police. And the police are racially profiling him. That was pissing me off too. He's racially profiling him like, "Oh, this is a nice car, and you passed the breathalyzer test. You ain't drunk, but now let me run these plates to see what's going on with this car." And it's like, come on. So I'm sitting here like, come on, he got to get to his daddy. He need to know what's going on. I'm looking at that. Then we have another young lady who is one of his sisters. I think she's Alicia. She's doing her makeup tutorial, and her other sister Wanda called her, and she's like, "Not today, Satan." So that tells me there's some tension between the siblings, and she ignores the call. So she ignored the call to continue doing her video. Meanwhile, Daddy is in the hospital getting closer and closer to the king. He about to go to the king. Take me to the king. He getting closer to the king. We get to the hospital. It's not looking good for Mr. Richards. And by the time Gus gets there, their mom is there, their mom Claudia, and by the time Gus gets there, he done went on to glory. He's dead. So we go back to New York. Nina is at her home, nice home by the way, and she's getting it on with some young man who she done got a piece of him, and she's like, "Bruh, I enjoyed you, but ain't gonna be no cuddling up after this." You know what I'm saying? She did him like a cheap hoe. She said, "I got what I needed. Get on out of here." I've never been treated like a piece of meat like that, you know. So he was offended, like, "What is this?" And she said, "Thank you, but you gotta go." So as she's throwing him out, her brother comes in, and her brother's name is Simon. And the guy's like, "Who's this?" And Simon tells her, "Listen, sis, Dad is dead." She said, "Wait a minute. You came all the way to Brooklyn to tell me that? That's what you came all the way here to tell?" I was like, damn, like she has no love lost. She said, "Listen, that man been dead. He been dead in my mind. He been dead since 1993. It is 2022. He been dead. What you telling me for?" Like, okay. So she was like, "I ain't trying to go to the funeral. I don't want to be bothered." She's like, "I ain't trying to go to the funeral." None of that. I'm like, oh, damn, this is good. This is good. She's like, "I ain't trying to go to the funeral." So then he's like, "Listen, we got to get some sort of closure. We need to go. Let's have a conversation with Mommy." They go to their mother. Their mother's like, "You want to go to this MF's funeral, the one that abandoned us all those years?" She's like, "Screw him. So he died, and what? What's that? Who cares?" I was like, wow, what did this? She said, "This is you want to go to the funeral of the man that left us and abandoned us? That's what y'all want to do?" So lo and behold, they get to go to the funeral. Now here's the shady part. We see the funeral, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see Nina or Simon. Where are they at? They showed them at the airport. Apparently, their stepmother, I guess that's what you call her, Claudia, has changed the time of the funeral, shady, so that they can't make it to the funeral. I'm like, that's real messed up. Who does that? A shady broad does that. An evil broad does that. She did it like she don't want to see them at the funeral. So it's all this tension. And I guess her thing is she's assuming those are the first set of kids. So there's this jealousy, and it's like, they probably want money, this, that, and the third. So I'm like, is she not keeping track that Nina and them doing it very well for themselves as well? So Nina's like, we're going to go on over to the repast. Now, this is funny. We see the repast. We see the siblings, Claudia's children. There's some tension between them, the makeup artist and Gus and Wanda. And it was Wanda, the makeup artist, Alicia, Gus. They're having this tension like, you wasn't answering your phone. You don't seem to care. And Claudia's like, hold on. We're a family. We're going to stick together. Blah, 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 blah. But what was funny, did y'all catch at the repast? It looks like, I guess it was some other relatives. I believe these are Richard's relatives. They're like, look at her. She already talking about money. So greedy. Just look at her. You see how people act up at funerals? But the biggest thing that got me was, y'all want to do the will reading at the repast. Isn't this what we supposed to just, let's just get to it, huh? Y'all ain't going to sit back and have some chicken and, all the food, the best food is at the repasts. The black families, the repast is with all the good food and all the good. And I'm sitting here like, who in the hell has a will reading at a repast? But you know what? That was Claudia's idea. She's like, we might as well get this done now. And she's like, the kids didn't come. They probably were gold diggers. His kids didn't come. Not letting them know that she changed the time of the funeral. So now they're going to do the reading of the will. And in walks Simon and Nina. And Claudia is not pleased. She's looking disgusted. So they go and sit down. And then they have this. Gideon is the estate. He's the executor of the estate. He's the trusted right-hand man of the late Mr. Richards. And he's like, there's a will and here's the information. And apparently, Claudia don't like, she don't like him. So there's like a lot of tension and stuff going on. And so I'm like, yeah, it's a lot going on here. So they start reading off the will. Well, there's a video will, and it's Mr. Richards himself. And as you see, Stephen, rich people, they could do that, doing this whole video will. So he did the will. He's like, clearly I'm dead. And he went on and listed who was getting what. And so it looks like his secretary is getting some money. His siblings are getting some money. He told his kids, y'all are getting 30 million pounds. However, not until you hit 40 will you be able to get that. So now you got to build some stuff on your own. That's what he did to his 3 kids that are his kids by Claudia. He said, you ain't getting that money until you turn 40. Then he said, Claudia, my beautiful wife, you are getting the house and of course some money to keep that going. But you get in the house, and the house is big and beautiful. So, all right. Then we get down to who's getting the company. What is the name of this company? Let me look at my notes, y'all. Flair and Glory. He's like, okay, now when it comes to Flair and Glory, he said, I leave all shares to Nina and Simon. And boy, did Claudia act a fool. She acted like the drunk auntie at the cookout that have a fit. The one aunt or somebody that always getting the art. She started knocking things over. This is ridiculous. You did this. This will is fake. And all this other foolishness. And all hell broke loose. Claudia was pissed off. She started looking at Gideon. This is your fault. This is your doing. She trying to say the will is fake. Ma'am, he's on video. It's a video. You can't contest that, ma'am. That's listen, y'all. So she's pissed off. She's like, no, this can't happen. We're not liking this. So we see her go to her little inside man. And she's like, first of all, she's so rude now. She goes in and she comes into the office. She walk past people. She ain't speaking. They telling her, they're giving her their condolences. She's like, F that. She goes straight to this dude and she's like, you're supposed to be handling this and you're supposed to be my eyes and ears. And he's like, he did some moves. So I'm assuming these two are messing around with each other. And he said something. She said, have some respect. My husband just died. And I'm like, okay. Then she's like, I put up with too much of this. So clearly Richard put her through the fire, through the ringer too. She said, I put up with too much of this for this to happen. I did all this for my children. I need to get a piece of this pie more than just this damn house and whatever he's going to give me. So he was like, listen, we'll see what we can do. Meanwhile, Nina's like, I don't want anything to do with this. They can have it all. Gideon is trying to convince her, listen, I think you really should take this. She's like, look, our life is in the States. I ain't mess with this man. I don't care nothing about this company, this whatever. Leave me alone. I don't know what he bothered me for. I don't fool with these people. I don't like none of these people. Oh, let me go back a little bit because I'm missing something. Claudia almost got punched in her face, and rightfully so, because there's a scene at the will reading where they're leaving and she says something about Claudia. She says something about Nina's mother. And it was like, she said something like, your mother couldn't keep a man or something like that. She said something rude and left with nothing. And she said, say it again. Say it again. Because this one is bragging about taking people's man out. She said, say it again. And I was like, yeah, say it again so she could punch you in your face. But she ain't say it again. So Claudia ain't really about that life. So back to what I was saying with Nina and Gideon. Nina said, listen, I don't want no parts of this. They could have this company. We're not interested. I don't want to deal with these people. I ain't mess with this guy. He been dead, whatever. But then she had a flashback when she went to the store and she remembered a time when her and her mother were being followed around the store by ignorant racists, and her mother shared this story with her about how you always, they're always going to have their foot on your black neck. Because you know how with the oppression and stuff, they're going to have, she didn't say it like that, but she's going to have your foot on your neck. And you as a black person, that's why you got to make sure you go out here and get yours. So it was something about that flashback, I believe, that inspired her. So anyway, we get back to the office. They hear, Claudia and them hear that, they decided they're going to sign their rights away. She's like, oh, good, oh, good, oh, good. But then her mouth is big. Because then she's, as Nina's about to sign, she's like, oh, yes, Richard was Stephen was a great man and a genius when he created this company. She said, my mother created this company. And then Claudia opened her mouth, was like, well, she couldn't keep her company and she couldn't keep her man. See, now you done effed up right there. If you would have shut up, she would have signed it. Nina was like, what? What'd you say, ho? Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. You know what? You want to talk slick? She threw that. I changed my mind. We're here to stay. Claudia was pissed off. And her little right-hand man told her, he said it at the same time I said it because I was yelling at the screen. That's how I do. I was like, all you had to do was shut up and you would have had it. But no, she wanted to run her mouth. So she's like, well, you did. She said, oh, your mother couldn't. First of all, watch your mouth. Stop being slick. You're not too bright. You should have shut up and just let her sign the thing. So now you have to deal with this. So she's upset and she's like, we're going to fight this. The guy said, y'all going to lose. And then you hear her son tell him, don't talk to my mother like that. He was right. Your mother needs to shut up. If she would have shut up, they would have signed it, and that's that. But then we wouldn't have the show. Then we go back to Claudia. I mean, sorry, not Claudia. We go back to Nina and her brother, Simon. And he's like, why did you decide to keep? She said, something is not right. Something is going on. When Daddy called me, then we learned. When Daddy called me, he said someone was trying to destroy the company and harm him. And, they showed the flashback. She said, well, I don't care. She told him she didn't care. But now she's like, and now he's dead. Something is going on. And I have to get to the bottom of it. And that's what I'm here for. I'm just here to get to the bottom of this. And we got to do this for our mother because this company is our birthright. This is my mother's company. I said, yeah, that's right. So that was good. That was a good first episode. And I really enjoyed that. I can't wait to watch the rest of them. Man, the acting is here superb. It's intense. That was just the first episode. And I was like, whoa, okay. I'm already like trying to figure things out and enjoy that. Tell me your thoughts if you like this show. Check out my other videos. I do Tyler Perry's The Oval. I'm doing Kendrick, which is on Hulu. That's a pretty good show. I have to do a little singing, some of everything on here. So that's all I have for now. Please tell me your thoughts below, and I will see you all in the next video.